Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Kumusta ang umaga? Kumusta ang morning sessions sa mga puyat? Mga kapwa ko puyat. Alright. So, interesting po yung mga topics natin this camp. We are talking about apologetics basically. Defending the faith sa different perspectives na worldly. And see how they will stand in comparison to the knowledge of God. So the topic that was assigned sa akin, actually 2 sessions tayo this afternoon, okay? May part 1, may part 2. So wala pong matutulog. Ha? Wala matutulog. Kasi interesting po ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. I'm sure everybody sa inyo, especially sa inyong mga kabataan na nasa DepEd, very popular itong word na to. Tama? Identity. Diba? May gender identity na pinopromote and gender equality na pinopromote sa DepEd. And that's one of the reasons why we have this topic para magkaroon tayo ng awareness. What does the Bible say about these things? Totoo nga ba yung sinasabi ng DepEd? Or iba yung sinasabi ng Bible about these things? Okay? So, it's going to be a presentation of the biblical perspective sa mga matters na ito. So, bear with me. It will be an hour and more. Okay? Okay, so let's begin. So, in fact, we live in a time na very confusing. Do you agree? Confusing. Ano yung ibig ko sabihin sa confusing? Men, yung mga lalaki, they no longer know what it is like to be a man. Ano ba ang lalaki? Macho? Can anyone define what a man is? Pogi. Pag sinabing man, pogi. Diba? O ano, macho. Ano ang man? Anong purpose ng man? Para saan ang man? Diba? Hindi na natin alam. Paano ba maging gentleman? Actually, na-lose na natin yung pagiging gentleman these days. Okay? So marami nang hindi natin alam. Okay? As well as, hindi na rin natin alam ano ang woman. And yet, here's the rise of feminism. Sa time natin, may rise ng feminism. And yet, they don't know what a woman is. They say, feminism is all about equal rights for women. But what is a woman? Really? If you want to fight for the rights of the women, kung gusto nyo ipagtanggol ang mga kababaihan, kailangan nyo munang ma-define ano ang babae para maipagtanggol nyo sila ng tama. Tama? Tama? Ako sinabi kong, ito, babae ito. Ito, babae ito. Kaya ko i-describe ito. Ano siya? Diretso siya, matigas. Yan ang babae. O at least alam ko i-defend na ito ay babae, ito ang karapatan niyan. Diba? Dapat nandiyan lang yan sa gitna. Diba? Hindi pa pwedeng hahanap ako ng karapatan ng isang ng mga kababaihan na hindi ko alam kung ano yung pinagtatanggol ko in the first place. Hindi lang yung confusion between man and woman ang nagra-rise today. Even yung LGBT, diba, is on the rise. Ano yung LGBT? Lettuce, ground beef, hindi ba burger yon? Ano ba yon? Ano yung LGBT? Lesbians, gays, bisexuals, more. Ewan ko kung nasan yung lumot doon. Okay? Yan. So, in fact, dahil hindi natin alam kung ano ang lalaki, hindi natin alam kung ano ang babae, tapos may confusion pa kung babae ba talaga ako, lalaki ako, hindi na mawari, mahihirapan din tayong i-define what is a mother, what is a father, what is a sister, what is a brother, what is an uncle, what is an aunt. Diba? What is a home after all? What is family? What are children for? What is love? Lahat na itong confusion ito, patong-patong. That's where we are right now. Yan ang mundo na kinikilusan natin. Hindi na natin alam kung ano ang totoo. Okay? And so, we are here today to present to you the biblical case for truth sa mga bagay na ito. Okay? And the reason why we lost all meaning is because we don't know who God is anymore. I understand na sa mga kabataan kagaya ninyo, it's very difficult to be faced with such challenges. Kasi Here's DepEd presenting to you, ganito dapat ang babae, ganito ang lalaki, you should affirm yung kanilang identities, etc. And kapag hindi nyo ginawa yun, you are bigots, you are misogynists, kapag hindi nyo in-affirm yung feminism, misogynist daw kayo, haters of women. Okay? Andiyan yung homophobe, kapag hindi nyo in-affirm yung mga karapatan ng mga bakla, homophobe ka na kaagad. They call you names. And sa mga kabataan kagaya ninyo, ano yun, nakaka-demoralize. No? Na parang, wala, ayaw nila sa akin kasi ito yung view ko, ito yung tinatayuan kong prinsipyo. Well, sad to say, if you are for the Lord, talagang may experience niyo yung same sufferings kagaya ni Christ. Kung hinate siya ng world, even kayo, i-hate kayo ng world. But that's okay, because the promise of eternal life is for you. The promise na binigay ng Panginoon na future and the hope para sa inyo yon. Okay? And even though challenging yung times na ito at it seems scary, wag kayong madi-discourage. Wag kayong madi-discourage. Why? Because God did not make a mistake. Hindi siya nagkamali. Ano ibig ko sabihin? Hindi siya nagkamali na tinawag kayo sa time na ito. You are exactly called for such a time like this. So be brave. Huwag niyo katakutan yung mga ideologies that are prowling around na para bang nakakatakot sagutin yung mga contentions against God, against the knowledge of God. Huwag niyo katakutan yung mga yun. Why? Because nasa side natin ang Diyos. Okay? So, without further ado, I hope na that little encouragement maidala kayo further. Now, let's start with a few of the hermeneutical principles we need to understand para mas mabilis nating ma-discuss itong topics na ito. Okay? Number one, God is a God of, ano nakalagay? Order. Ano ang opposite ng order? Chaos or disorder or confusion. Si God daw ay hindi siya author ng confusion. He is the God of order. Kaya ngayong isang tao na makasalanan, ang buhay niya napakagulo eh. Diba? Pero pag tinawag siya ng Panginoon, na-restore siya ng Panginoon, na iaayos ang buhay niya. Doon pa lang kitang-kita niyo na ang Panginoon, ang kanyang gawa ay maayos. Inaayos niya ang lahat sa tao. So ganun din, sa society na sumasamba sa Diyos, inaayos din niya yan. Diba? Pero bakit ang daming confusion these days? Diba? Because they hate God. The world hates God. And so their hatred for God produces disorder, confusion. Yun yung fruit ng kanilang disobedience and hatred for God. Second principle, no God, no reality. You cannot really know anything apart from God. Why? Because God is the source of absolute truth. You will only know what reality is if you know God. Kung ano yung nireveal ni God, doon tayo magbe-base kung ano ang totoo. Hindi yung parang gagawa tayo ng kanya-kanya nating truth. Diba? Right now, we live in a relative world. May truth si Justin, may truth si Donna, halimbawa, or may truth si CJ, kanya-kanya na lang tayong truth, wala tayong pakialamanan. That's relativism. Pero that's not how the world works. We always have to find out what is true to arrive to something. Diba? So, in order for us to know reality, we need to go back dun sa source ng all truth, ng true truth. Hindi yung mga false truth na invento lang ng tao. Kasi ang mga tao, ang hilig nilang gumawa ng knowledge claims. Wala naman silang foundation for knowledge. Okay? All knowledge is God's. Ang tao, akala niya may knowledge siya, pero actually foolishness ang meron sa kanya. Okay? So in order for us to know reality, kung gusto niyo malaman ng totoo, kilalanin ninyo ang Diyos, alamin ninyo ang kalooban niya. Number 3, stupidity never works. Ano ibig ko sabihin? Iuntog mo yung ulo mo sa kanto ng lamesang to, halimbawa, you will find out soon enough na hindi yun okay. Iuntog mo na iuntog na ganun. Hindi mo alam, baka mabukulan ka o mabasag yung bungo mo. Because it's stupid to bump your head here for an infinite number of times. Di ba? It's stupid. And ganun din. Ang Panginoon, nasa Kanya ang lahat ng wisdom. So, to not dwell with God, ang i-earn ninyo ay foolishness or stupidity. Sino dito gusto maging stupid? Wala. Mabuti naman. Mabuti. Okay? So, kilalanin ninyo ang Diyos. Hidden in Christ are all treasures of knowledge and wisdom. Okay? Na kay Kristo lahat yon. Kilalanin ninyo ang Diyos. Magiging wise kayo. He makes wise the simple, sabi ng Proverbs, ng Psalm. And, tawag dito, nasa kanya lahat ng knowledge. Init. Number 4, only God's kingdom, His order, His wisdom, His truth shall stand. As prophesied by God, sabi ko nga kanina sa number 2, ang reality is yung nanggagaling sa Diyos. Ano yung ni-reveal ng Diyos? Ni-reveal ng Diyos na ang future is already decided. The future is already decided and God wins. Okay? God wins. So, lahat ng mga knowledge, lahat ng kingdoms, lahat ng pagmamalaki ng tao that sets itself against the knowledge of God will all crumble. Magfo-fall lahat yan. Walang maglalast maliban sa kingdom ng Diyos. So, if I were you, dun ako sa order na sinet ng Diyos. Dun ako sa wisdom na sinet ng Diyos. Dun ako sa truth na sinet ng Diyos. Because after all, that's the only one that will remain. Lahat ng false knowledge, lahat ng false wisdom, ng mga lies, they will all crumble one day. Sila mismo, kakainin sila ng sarili nilang sistema. Because confusion begets more confusion. Number 5, God never changes. Kung ano yung sinabi ni God na evil noong Old Testament times, even to us today, evil pa rin ba yun? Ha? Nagbago ba si God ng mind niya? Noong Old Testament, sabi niya, ito ang mga mali, ito ang masasamang bagay. Pagdating ng New Testament, hindi pala ito masamang bagay. Ganun ba si God? Hindi ganun si God. Hindi siya tao na parang pabago-bago ng isip. Di ba? He never changes. Kung ano yung sinet niyang standard, it still applies to us today. Number 6, there's nothing new under the sun. If you think na yung homosexuality, abortion, or whatnot, feminism is new, no, you're wrong. It's not new. There's nothing new under the sun. Lahat ng yan, lahat ng knowledge that rises against the knowledge of God have been there as old as the garden was. Okay? So, huwag kayong ma-surprise kung mayroon pa mga bagong ideologies and principles na lalabas eventually, huwag niyo silang katakutan. Instead, i-build niyo yung faith and trust niyo kay Christ. Because at the end, He wins. Believe Him. Take Him at His word. Number 7, Satan hates the family and plans to corrupt it. Bakit kaya Satan hates the family? What's with the family? Ha? Ang family kasi is the principal tool na ginagamit ng Diyos to bring about His purposes. Ano yon? Ano ba ang mission ni Christ? To bring many sons to glory nang may maipresent siya sa Father. Thank you po, Pastor. Na maipresent niyo yung mga sons of glory to the Father. That's the mission of Christ. Okay? So, Satan plans to corrupt the family. By how? Confusing kung ano ang babae, ano ang lalaki, ano ang anak, para saan ang mga yon, ano ang family life. Kino-corrupt ni Satan yan because he hates the mission of Christ. Number 8, we lost our identity because of sin. Ang tao is created in the image of God. Okay? So our identities basically rests kay God. But because sin entered the world, nung nag-fall si Adam and Eve, we lost our identity. Yung dati nating Father, na creator natin, si God, na change, na alter yung ating relationship doon at ang kinuha nating Father is si Satan, the devil. So kumbaga, na-hijack yung ating identities ng devil. Ano? Dahil na rin ginusto ng tao yon, ginusto ng tao, nasambahin yung image ni Satan. Number 9, neutrality is a myth. There's no such thing as a neutral ground sa mga usapin na ito. Hindi pa pwedeng, kasi parang tama naman yung ganito, so siguro doon na lang ako sa gitna. Doon na lang ako sa gitna. Sinasabi ng Bible, ganito. Sinasabi ng mundo, ganito. Pero ayoko yung bangayan nila, dito na lang ako sa gitna para walang away. Possible kaya yon? Hindi pa possible yon. Walang middle ground dito. It's either you are for Christ or you are against Christ. Kung para ka sa Diyos, para ka sa Diyos. Kung hindi ka para sa Diyos, hindi ka para sa Diyos. Walang middle ground dito. Okay? So kung iniisip niyo na, hindi, ano na lang, iwan ko na lang yan doon sa mga kaya mag-defend ng faith at ako wala na lang akong responsibility na aralin ito, well, mag-isip-isip kayo kasi eventually you will have your own families. Sabi ng Bible, your children will one day ask you, what will you say? Kung hindi ninyo alam ang sinasabi ng Diyos. Okay? Fear God, fear no man. Huwag niyong katakutan yung mga tao kung ano man yung kanilang position about something and they present themselves as against God, against the knowledge of God. Huwag niyong katatakutan kahit sino. Ang katakutan ninyo yung Diyos na lumalang ng tao at kayang pumatay ng espiritu ng tao. Yun ang sinasabi ng Biblia. Okay? So kung magde-defend man kayo ng faith ninyo at sirain man nila yung identity ninyo, well, welcome to the club. That's the Christian life. That's the Christian life. I don't know if I will have time to share to you my experiences, pero I've lost a lot of friends and I've been attacked left and right before sa defense ng faith. But that's all right because it's a joy to share in the sufferings of Christ. Okay, so first topic. Ready? Feminism. Yan, feminism. Ano ang feminism? Sino may knowledge about feminism? Who can define what feminism is about? Ano ang prior knowledge niyo about feminism? Women, ano pa? Parang women. It's all about women, yes. Ayun naman. Women empowerment, sabi niya. Okay, empowering women. Yes. What else? What is feminism? Women are equal to men. Women's equality sa mga men. Okay, what else? Meron pa ba? Feminism? Meron pa? Actually, yung sinasabi ninyong yon, nasa first wave to second wave feminism pa lang kayo. Wala pa kayo sa modern day feminism. Okay, and we will find out ano yung mga pinaglalaban nitong mga movements na ito today. Okay, but before we go there, before we even define what feminism really is about, I want to ask you a question. Pageant muna tayo. Contestant number 1. Sino ang contestant number 1? What is the essence of being a woman? Sino? Sino gusto sumagot? What is the essence of being a woman? Magpaganda daw. Actually, totoo yan, ano? Ang mga tao, pag tinanong mo anong babae, maganda, sexy. Yun ang image ng babae ngayon eh. Di ba? So, what is the essence of being a woman? Or ano ang goal of being a woman? Ano ang purpose ng pagiging babae? Meron? Anyone? Sa mga old ladies po natin dyan. Manganak. Magkaroon ng anak. That's the essence daw of being a woman. That's a valid answer. Sa generation ko, dun banda doon, yung mga fussy. What is the essence of being a woman? Hindi daw. Walang woman. Dito, what is the essence of being a woman? Ha? Wonder Woman daw, oh. Actually, along those lines, sa generation natin, ang most answer dyan is to be a career woman. Okay? To get my fulfillment from my career. Yun ang sagot ng mga nasa generation namin. How about sa generation ninyo? Ano sa tingin ninyo ang essence of being a woman? Have you ever thought of this question at least? What is the essence? Walang gustong sumagot. Kasi sa generation ninyo, hindi na alam what is a woman. Kaya ang hirap sagutin. Interesting, ano? In different generations, magkakaiba ng sagot. Yung mga oldies, sa sagot nila, to be a mother. Ang sagot ng generation namin, to be a career woman. And then ang sagot ng generation ninyo, what is a woman? Diba? Ano nangyari along the way? Ano nangyari along the way? Later natin sagutin ano talaga yung sagot dyan. Okay? Now let's talk about the waves of feminism. Paano ba nag-arise itong feminism na ito? So in the 1700s, meron tinatawag na proto-feminism. Okay? Dito nang galing yung mismong idea ng activism for women. Okay? So ang nangyari ng proto-feminist time na yon, they challenged the prevailing attitudes toward women and marital abuses and advocated for women's rights for increased access to education and property, though without the unified label of feminism. Meron ba? Question, may mali ba sa pagtatama ng attitude against women? Sa abuses, may mali ba na itama yung abuses against women? Mali ba yon? Mali ba na itama yung abuses against women? Hindi mali yon. Tama lang yon. Oh, di ba? And how about education? Dapat lang ba na mag-aral ang mga kababaihan? Sure? Ay, galing ah. Okay. Kala ko iba yung sagot. Oh, how about property? Okay lang ba magkaroon ng property ang mga babae? Yes. Oh. So ano, may problema ba ako dito? Wala. Wala akong problema dyan. Kasi, to be honest with you, yung mga babae nitong proto-feminist and yung first wave feminist times or periods are predominantly Christian. Alam nyo kung saan nila nakuha yung idea na yung mga babae ay dapat equal ang treatment sa kanila as with the men? From the abolitionist movement. Alam nyo yung abolitionist movement? Before kasi they own slaves eh. Diba? Yung mga blacks, they're treated like animals. They're treated like properties. So yung mga Christians, they arose and said, mali yan. Because lahat ng tao ay created in the image of God. Tama ba yon? Lahat ng tao, pantay-pantay sa mata ng Diyos? Yes, tama lang yon. And so they said, dapat nating i-protect ang mga slaves na yan. Hindi dapat sila matreat as such. Hindi dapat sila matreat like hayop. Hindi dapat sila matreat like property. And so, natanggal sa Amerika, na-abolish yung tinatawag nilang slavery. And here comes feminism. They got the same idea na meron sa abolishment ng slavery at in-apply nila sa mga kababaihan. Okay, in-apply nila sa kababaihan. Tama lang ba yon? Na-equal ang babae sa lalaki sa mata ng Diyos? Yes, walang mali doon. Diba? Okay. Walang mali doon. So in the late 1800s, nag-arise na yung first wave na feminism, naging official movement na siya. Okay? So yung ibang historians, they don't make any distinction here, pero yun lang ang distinction dito, naging official movement na siya. Okay? And ang pinaka naging goal nila is itong suffrage movement, yung women's right to vote. May karapatan ba sana ang mga babaeng bumoto? Walang problemang bumoto ang babae. It's okay. Kasi kung halimbawa, sa loob ng pamilya, mag-asawa, yung lalaki, ang boto niya dito sa isang kandidato, yung babae dito, ang ginawa lang niya is kinancel lang niya yung vote ng family na yon. Okay? Kasi nag-negative sila. Kumbaga, positive, negative, wala. Walang vote yung family na yon. Okay? Ganun lang yung effect nun. Okay? So, walang problem na magkaroon ng right yung mga babae to vote. Kaya nga, sabi ko nga sa inyo, itong proto and first wave feminism, they're predominantly led by Christian women, by Christian principles. However, hindi lahat ng feminists na nag-join ng first wave ay Christians. Meron din mga loud voices there. Na iba ang agenda. Hindi na yung tungkol sa equality sa mata ng Diyos, ng lalaki at babae, kundi yung rights ng kababaihan. Iangat natin ang mga babae to a level where it has never been before. Okay? Kaya no second wave feminism, ang naging fight nila is this. Patriarchal structures. Anong sabi nila? Kasi yung mga men, abusive sila. They're the head of the home, para silang mga boss. Ang mga babae, they're just doormats. Wala silang value yun ang treatment sa amin. So, ang mga fathers daw, abusive. Patriarchal means patre, father. Okay? Yung man ang nag-head ng home. Yun ang issue nila dyan. And promoted consciousness raising. Awareness, self-awareness ng kababaihan. Personal empowerment. Yung nasagot ni Ate Naomi kanina. And challenging societal expectations for women. ano ba dapat ang ginagawa ng babae? Because sila daw dapat ay merong personal empowerment. They are free to explore ano talaga ang gusto nila. Then, nakita nila yung sarili nilang, okay, life is boring. Bakit yung mga men, nakakalabas sila, they do all the fun things, tapos kami, we're stuck inside the home, tending to our children. Is there anything wrong tending to your children? Ha? Mali bang alagaan ng mga anak? Ha? Hindi, di ba? Pero, sabi nila, ang babae daw dapat, ganun din, kung paano yung mga lalaki nakakalabas at nakakagawa ng kung ano-ano, dapat sila din daw. Ganun. Okay, so nag-rise na dito yung workplace issues sa mga kababaihan. Na dapat ang mga babae, they are free to work. Okay? Yung mga lalaki, they're working, yung mga babae, mag-work. Question, sinong naiwan sa bahay? Katulong ang naiwan. Okay? Ayan, workplace equality, isa rin yan sa issue nila. Sa workplace, dapat daw kung ano yung sahod ng lalaki, siya ang sahod ng babae. Eh kaso ayaw naman ng mga babaeng maging tubero. Ayaw naman nilang maging minero. Tapos magdedemand sila ng equality for men nung time na yan. Okay? Well, ano pa ba? Reproductive rights. Since they are free to explore themselves, dapat free din sila to express their reproductive freedoms. Malaya ako. Bakit yung mga lalaki, pwede silang mambabae anytime they want? Dapat ako bilang babae, ganun din. Women power! Domestic violence and sexual harassment. Okay? So may mga tama rin naman sila pinaglaban eh. Mali naman talaga ang sexual harassment, mali naman talaga ang domestic abuse. Itong dalawa, questionable. Okay? Third wave feminism and fourth wave feminism. Ito na yung time natin today. Okay, sabi ko nga sa mga sagot nyo kanina, hanggang dito pa lang kayo eh. Kailan pa yon? Ha? Hanggang 1980s lang yung laban na yon. Iba na pinaglalaban ng mga babae ngayon. Ano ang pinaglalaban ng mga babae ngayon? Intersectionality. Ano ang intersectionality? They say na yung concept ng femininity is crossing borders sa iba't ibang disciplines, sa iba't ibang social constructs or categories. So, ang feminism ngayon, pwede na rin silang mag-intersect. Parang kumbaga, yung kanilang pinaglalaban ay pumapasok din sa pinaglalaban ng race, equal rights for the race or the classes, or sa mga may sexual issues, sa climate change. Kaya nga pag-aatin kayo ng mga feminist marches ngayon, mga women's march, hindi mo na alam kung ano pinaglalaban nila. Halo-halo. Halo-halo. Kanya-kanyang karatula, hindi na alam. May pinaglalaban yung sexual rights nila, may pinaglalaban yung climate change, may pinaglalaban yung kung ano-ano. Kung gusto mo ipaglaban yung liberty mo na kumain ng chicharon, pwede. Pwede. Pwede rin po. Sa format ng feminism today, because of intersectionality, you can just fight for anything, and they're open in saying that. Fight for anything, and it cannot be wrong. They recognize interconnectedness daw ng kung ano-ano pang issues with their gender. It challenged the idea of a universal female experience and promoted diversity within feminism. So, you can be a feminist na iba ang pagkahubog sa'yo, iba ang ideology mo versus sa ibang feminist. Pero at least we are all feminists. Anyone who claim na parang, okay, I am a woman, I feel like a woman. Okay? Lalaki ako, pero sinabi kong I am a woman, I feel like a woman, then you're welcome to be a feminist. You're welcome to fight for your rights, and we will be with you. Okay? They can be diverse like that, kahit wala na yung official principle ng feminism. So it's no longer about the women's rights, actually. Feminism is no longer about women's rights. It's about fighting for whatever they want. Okay? That's where we are right now. And the fourth wave, which is, ito yung sinasabi nilang meron daw wave ngayon, although some historians disagree. Meron daw wave ngayon, which is the fourth wave feminism, which is focusing on digital activism, online, ang fight, body positivity. Diba? Mga women daw, they are free to be fat and feel sexy and confident about themselves, you know? Ganun daw. So kahit fat ka na and obese ka, kain ka ng kain, that's okay. Kasi wala namang authority above women eh. Diba? Wala namang authority above women. That's what they say. Okay? Pero in fact, there's a sin sa may Bible called gluttony. Okay? So sin po yun. And traditional gender norms. Ang babae, hindi na lang siya basta long hair. Women can be bald. Women can have tattoos as well. Women can, cut their breasts, show their nipples, whatever they want. Women can be free. Women empowerment. That's what feminism now is all about these days. Okay? In fact, yung term na feminism is not necessarily a terminology about rights ng women before. It was about femininity. Pag sinabing feminism, it's the character of being a woman. Feminism yon. Halimbawa, the feminism of ganyan. The feminism of ganyan. Kaso kinuha nila yung terminology na yan at in-apply nila for activism. Kaya naging feminism. Okay? So now they say they're fighting for equal rights daw for men and women. Now, the rise of feminism, it arose to gain a just treatment for women. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, it's justifiably Christian. Kasi tama lang naman Diba? Na pantay-pantay ang turing natin sa isa't isa. Titreat natin ang isa't isa na may value, may dignidad, diba? May honor. Tama lang ba yon? Okay lang ba maging magalang ako sa babae? Yes. Okay lang ba maging magalang yung babae sa lalaki? Oh, that's equality for you. Oh. Di ba? May issue ba tayo doon? Wala namang may issue doon. Although noon, once in history, there were men who were abusive of their powers. Hindi natin kinakaila yun. Okay? So it's justifiably Christian at the concept, but it did not take long until other non-Christian parties joined it to fight for women's rights. The movement got hijacked then to become about the liberation of women. It's no longer about equality. You know what? Yung mga first feminists noon, hindi naman sila against doon sa mga husbands nila na mag-submit sila sa husbands nila. They're not against that. They're not against staying inside the home. They're not against that. They're not against tending to their children. They're not against that. They're not against supporting their husbands in the needs ng husbands. They're not against that. They're not even against dun sa idea na ang mga lalaki dapat ang nagli-lead sa church. They're not against abortion. They're not against yung mag-anak. They are pro-life back then. Know your history. They're pro-life. Pero sino yung mga feminists ngayon? They're against yung mga babae na magkaroon ng anak kung ayaw nila. Diba? Yet they enjoy yung liberties of having irresponsible sex. Tapos pag nabuntis sila, kailangan i-abort nila. Kung ayaw ninyo mag-anak, di wag kayong mag-irresponsible sex. Diba? Ganun lang yun. And then sabi nila, yung mga conservatives, they're arising. Dumadami sila. Tapos ang revolution ng mga babae, well, mag-a-abstain kami from sex, ayaw na namin ng sex. Then okay. Okay, edi walang abortion, What are you fighting really for? Okay, now let's look at some of the signs ng mga nasa women's marches. Okay? Together we can end male violence against women. Is that wrong? Hindi mali na ipaglaban yan. Diba? Tama lang na ipaglaban yan. Together, we can end male violence against women. Yes. Okay, how about this one? We stand for equality. Tama ba yan? Tama ba yan? You need to ask first, what do you mean by equality? Kung ang ibig nyo sabihin is yung same honor, same worth, same dignity as the man, sure. Let's fight for equality. Pero kung ang sinasabi ninyo is, kailangan walang authority above the woman, that's equality, yung woman, bahala siya sa sarili niya, gawin ang gusto niya, that's equality for the feminists. And if you're fighting for that, then I'd say, no. No way. That's not biblical. This one, ako hanggang ngayon, baffled pa rin ako kung ano ito. Yes, women can. Women can what? I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean women can? Kaya din. Kaya yung ano? Kayang mag... Ang mga babae, kaya nilang manganak. Sure, women can. Kaya din nilang gawin ang ginagawa ng lalaki. Sabi nila, o sige, maging tubero garod kayo. Maghukay kayo ng balon. Mag-welding. Although may mga babaeng welder. Diba? Pero here's the deal, ano? Hard labor has always been masculine ang nature ng work na yon. A lot of women don't want those jobs. Actually ngayon, nagiging brat na nga lang yung mga babae. They say, equal rights, dapat pare-pareho tayo, pantay-pantay, pero ayaw nila yung mga jobs na ganun. Ayaw nila yung pumupunta sa imburnal na trabaho. Oh, women can? Sure, you're welcome, do our job. Sino bang nagde-deny sa inyo ng freedom na yon? Kayo rin naman eh. Di ba? Yung mga feminist din naman eh. Kasi ayaw nila yung ganung trabaho. Ang gusto ninyo yung mga high positions doon sa ano. What's wrong? Kung babae, pwede siya mapunta sa high position, eh yung lalaki, bawal. Mali ba yun? Bakit akala ko ba equality? Unfair din eh, no? Hindi rin pantay-pantay yung tingin nila. Ito, no more patriarchy daw. Kasi men, yung mga fathers, they are abusive. Really, no more patriarchy. Gusto nila yung mga babae ang nag-lead ng home. Actually, sa culture natin today, it's mostly matriarchy. Mga babae na nag-lead ng home, hindi na mga tatay. Ang mga tatay, tahimik na lang, nasa sulok na lang, wala na lang ginagawa, tatango-tango na lang, bahala ka na, gusto mo. Bahala ka na sa mga, tama ka naman palagi, sabi ni Pastor. Diba? No more patriarchy. Guess what? The Bible is, ever since, patriarchal. And ito nga lang ha, God the Father is called the Father. Patriarchal yun. Diba? Si Christ, siya ang head ng church. Patriarchal din yun. The father is the head ng wife. Patriarchal din yun. Those are biblical concepts. This is a fight ng feminism against patriarchy. Against daw sila ng mga lalaki ang nagli-lead. Kasi dapat mga babae din ang mag-lead. Question, pag nabaldado yung lalaki, sino magli-lead ng home? Nabaldado yung lalaki. Hindi na kayang kumilos o ano. Hindi na kayang makapagsalita, for example. Sino magde-decide? Yung babae. Ganun naman ever since eh. Kung na-incapacitate yung lalaki, the babae will step in. Wala namang problem doon eh. Ngayon na lang nagkakaroon ng mga confusion na ganyan because we don't want the order na sinet ni God. Di ba? O ito, abortion is healthcare. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, halo-halo na kung ano paglalaban ng mga feminists ngayon eh. Gulong-gulo din sila, hindi nila alam ano na ang feminism ngayon. Okay, abortion is healthcare. Because pro-choice daw dapat ang mga babae. They're supposed to be free in expressing their sexual rights. If abortion is healthcare, then murder is a human right. What limits me now to kill Gab? Wala. Kung tama pala ito, edi dapat human right, karapatan ko rin palang pumatay, halimbawa. Di ba? What's the difference? Sa tao din naman yun nasa womb. Pinatay nyo rin yun. What's the difference? Ano nga eh, crazy nga. Ito may bata pa dun. No? May baby pa. Okay. My body, my choice. Body mo pala yan eh. Diba? So, my body, my choice. Wala kang karapatan to, okay? My body, my choice. Are you really free to do anything with your bodies? Who owns your bodies? Well, the Bible says, God owns us. Diba? He dictates ano yung tamang use ng bodies natin. Kaya nga God is very much concerned even in our sexual practices because He owns our bodies. However, legally speaking, sa batas natin, Constitution, walang nagpo-prohibit sa inyo na putulin itong daliri ninyo kung gusto nyo. Okay? Body nyo yan, putulin nyo yan, okay lang. However, that is stupid. Why would you do that? It's a perfectly healthy finger. Why would you do that? Diba? It's dumb. You don't do that. Diba? Ang issue dito is, they say, it's not about kasi yung finger, it's about the baby in the womb. My body, my choice. Kung ayoko yung baby dito, papatayin ko siya, I'm free to do that. i-abort ko. Really? Is that your body? That's another person's body. Don't transgress it. Diba? It's the issue. The future is female. Okay. The future is female. Yun ang sagot ko dyan. Okay. The future is also male. How can you propagate without the men? Without the men? Really now?
Women can.
Yes, women can. Kahit walang foundation yung claim na yon. Diba? Pwede bang mag-propagate yung babae na wala yung similya ng lalaki? Hindi possible yun. Transgender. The future is female. Okay, so the answer there is, the future is also male. The future is male and female. Support your sisters, not just your sisters. Kasi nga, sa time natin ngayon, we can just claim na you can just identify as a woman. Okay? For all you want. And you will be welcomed sa feminist agenda. So if you support your sisters dito, ibig sabihin, even yung mga nag-claim na babae sila, kahit lalaki naman sila. Not just yung sisters, yung mga straight na babae. Yan ang sinasabi dyan. Support your sisters, not just your sisters. Well, how can I support a sister? What is a sister anyway? What is a sister? If you cannot define a woman, what is a sister? How can I support a sister if I don't know what a sister is? Ay nako, ang gulo-gulo. God is a woman. Ang sagot ko dito, how dare you not respect God's preferred pronouns? He said he's a he eh. At tapos sabi, God is a woman? Really? O diba, that's counterintuitive doon sa pinaglalaban ng feminism. Okay. Mind your own uterus. Sabi nila, wala kang uterus, wala kang karapatang magsalita about women's rights. Okay. So, kapag wala akong uterus, bawal akong mag-impose ng any truth or contradict what you're saying. Then wala ka rin namang penis. Why are you imposing your truth sa akin? Akala ko ba equality tayo? Bakit ganito? Ba't gusto nyo kayo lang nasusunod? Pwede pa yun? Ha? Diba? How will we ever get to something substantial kung ganito ang mga argumentation? You silence the opposition. You silence kung sino man yung gustong mag-voice out ng kanilang contradiction sa mga maling ginagawa, for example. Ito pa, last na ito sa mga, nakita ko lang ito nung nagbabrowse ako. I hate men who are afraid of women's strength. Women power! I hate men who are afraid of women's strength. Talaga namang yung mga feminists, kita nyo na. Kita, sabi dyan, no? Oh, dapat yung mga men talaga, huwag silang, kasi strong ang mga women. Guess what? Kung tama ito, edi dapat tama din na sabihin na I hate women who are afraid of men's strength. Kasi equality nga eh. How come kayo lang ang may karapatang mag-hate ng mga kalalakihan na takot sa strength ng babae? How about hate nyo rin dapat yung mga lalaki, yung mga babae na takot sa strength ng lalaki? Oh, di ba? Fear nga eh. Equality nga, di ba? You see? Because you know what? Ang order na ginawa ni God is hindi talaga yung babae against men, yung men against... It's not that. It's complementarian. Complementarian. Yung babae mag-fit dun sa may ginagawa ng lalaki and together they will work it out toward one goal, which is to glorify God in their bodies, to glorify God sa purposes ng life nila and ang kanilang marriage. Okay? Si God, nagbigay siya ng dominion mandate sa man. Okay? Lagi natin itong nababasa, lagi itong nabibring out sa mga discussion natin. Genesis 2, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Ang design ni God for man and woman kay Adam and Eve was eventually to become one flesh. Ang calling for them is to be married. Married and do the dominion mandate. Kaya nga binigay sa kanilang dalawa yung dominion mandate. Di ba? And they were created, di ba, in the image of God. And God blessed them. God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea, etc. Question. Possible ba for Adam lang to fulfill yung be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it? Do you think this dominion mandate is possible without the woman? It's not. Kung magagawa man ni Adam yan, impartial. Impartial. Partial lang. Hilaw. Hindi niya talaga kayang i-accomplish yan. Kaya nga, si Eve, nung ginawa ni God si Eve, hindi siya afterthought. Wag, yung mga babae, hindi dapat yung iniisip na parang ano lang si God, naawa lang si God kay Adam, naggawa niya na lahat, tapos, ay! Kalimutan ko yung babae. Hindi ganon. Talagang dinelay ni God yung kay Eve as a reward for Adam. Okay? Kasi inutusan niya si Adam, tend the garden, di ba? And find a suitable helpmeet for yourself. So, niname niya yung mga animals, nakita niya may babae, may lalaking hayop. And eventually, sabi niya, walang suitable sa kanya. Because sa design ni God, ang suitable lang talaga for Adam was the woman. He wanted Adam to wait. Kaya nga part yun ng ating discipline as Christians, waiting upon the Lord. Si Adam, he practiced that as well. He waited upon God for the blessings of God. And so, balikan natin, ito sa may Ephesians 5. About marriage, yung man and woman, they were called to be one flesh. And the mystery is profound, sabi doon. I am saying that it refers to Christ and the church. Ang marriage is a picture of a heavenly reality. It's pointing to the marriage of Christ and His bride, the church. So kung meron mang proper model, kung meron mang tamang model of being a man, of being a woman, hindi yon yung si Pastor Jess or si Sister Iya, hindi ako or si Sister Golda, hindi yung kapwa natin tao ang ultimate model ng kababaihan or kalalakihan. Ang Diyos at ang kanyang salita. Okay? So sabi, si Christ daw, yung head. It refers to Christ and the church. So yung man, ang model niya is si Christ, ang model ng babae is yung church. Ito, God designed man to be the head of the woman and be under the lordship of the man. Hindi po ito Lord na capital L, hindi mo Diyos yung lalaki. Pero si Sarah, she was commended for calling Abraham Lord. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Yung mga lalaki ito, dapat Lord ako. Lord ako dapat. Lord in a way na Christ-like. Paano ba naging Lord si Christ sa atin? Basta ba, batas ko. Ganun lang ba si Christ? Hindi. He is full of mercy. He is full of grace. Diba? He's full of compassion. He's full of patience and understanding. He's full of joy. Diba? All blessings na nare-receive ng church comes from Him. Now think about that. It's a sacrificial model for the man. Kaya nga ang tamang terminology is hindi yung servant leadership Kasi laging ganun yung ginagamit sa kalalakihan Dapat maging servant leader kayo. You must use the biblical narrative. Servant lordship. Apply yung tamang lordship. Christ-like na lordship as the man. And be a servant to your family. Being a servant means hindi mo uunahin yung sarili mong interes. Ito mukha na ba akong feminist ngayon? Kasi ang mauunang priority dapat yung babae at yung anak. Kaya nga yung gentleman character, di ba? Lagi nilang sinasabi, alam nyo nung lumubog yung Titanic, yung mga lalaki, naiwan sila doon sa Titanic mismo. Sabi nila, women and children first. That's a gentleman character. We lost that already in this world because of feminism. Wala na. Hindi na natin alam paano maging gentleman. We learned that from Christ. Women and children first. Diba? 1 Corinthians 11 verse 3, 8 to 9. I want you to understand that the head of every man is Christ, but the head of a wife is her husband. Pause. Ang submission na kinocommand sa babae is hindi submission sa kung sino-sinong lalaki. Okay? Submission to one man. One man. Ang may authority over you is one man. Hindi ko sino-sinong lalaki. One man. Listen to your husband. Submit yourselves to your husband. And the head of Christ is God. Yung lalaki daw under kay Christ. Yung lalaki under kay Christ, and si Christ yung head ng man. So Christ, man, and the woman. For man was not made from woman, but woman from man. Neither was man created from woman, but woman for man. Kinuha yung babae sa tagiliran ni Adam, and so yung babae was created to support the purposes of man, which is the dominion mandate. Siya yung primary man na kinol doon alongside the woman who is the helpmeet for him. So women are not an afterthought in God's creation mandate. She is the icing on top. Do I sound like a feminist now? She was given to Adam as a reward for his obedience to be a potent, significant other to make the dominion mandate possible. Like Adam, Eve was also made in the image of God. So hindi ito parang devalued si Eve. Dahil later na lang siya create, undervalued siya, hindi ganon. Pareho silang nagbe-bear ng image of God. Therefore, women have the same worth, same dignity, same honor as men do. Women are designed differently than men, however. Biologically pa nga lang, men cannot bear children. Diba? Hindi namin kaya. We cannot produce milk. Kahit buong buhay namin pigain. Wala. Hindi possible. Talaga possible. Kaya huwag nyo nang asahan. Huwag nyo nang asahan, ha? Yan. Ito pa, other things. Women mature faster. They think faster. They are graceful. They are tender. They can do more things at once. Galing-galing nila mag-multitask. Yung lalaki, yung babae, dami niya nang nagawa. Yung lalaki, paulit-ulit yung ginagawa yung isang bagay. That's the total opposite of what men typically are like. Men mature slower. Yung babae, nagmamature na yung mind nila by age of 18, ganyan, 19. Yung lalaki, nasa 30s pa. Doon pa lang talaga nare-reach yung maturity ng mind sila. Okay? Very playful pa mag-isip ang mga lalaki. Even at a later age. They are single-minded. Kung ano lang yung trabaho, yun lang. Parang, ang hirap mag-focus. Ako, honestly, hirap na hirap ako mag-focus pag ang dami nangyayari sa paligid ko. Okay? Aggressive. Totoo yun. Merong drive ang lalaki na, Aah! Kaya nga pag yung may mga party, yung mga lalaki, jog. Ano sila? Taas ang energy ng mga lalaki. No? Very aggressive. Para saan kaya yun? You know? Rough. Ang lalaki rough. Talagang meron siya kasi kaya niya mag-hard labor eh. But men can be more focused. Yun naman ay isa sa skill ng lalaki, kaya niya mag-focus ng sobra. So kapag merong sobrang difficult na task na kailangan ng sobrang scrutiny, dyan, magagaling ang lalaki dyan. Magagaling na critic ang mga lalaki. Okay, kasi talagang kaya naming pumasok sa kung anong sulok ng mga bagay-bagay. Okay? God has given these traits not so the sexes can fight or abuse each other. So yung strength na ibinigay sa lalaki, hindi yan para suntukin yung babae. Ha? Para suntukin ang kapwa lalaki. O sige, kung gusto mo. Kung suntukan kayo, kung gusto nyo. Instead, they are provided so both can take dominion in the strengths they have been given. May kanya-kanyang strengths ang babae at lalaki. Diba? So again, it's complementarian. Dapat mag-work yung strength ni babae sa strength ni lalaki and together ma-accomplish nila yung same goal. Women are great multipliers. A man can build a house but only a woman can turn it into a home. Isipin mo yung bahay na walang lalaki, ano itsura nun? Wala, square lang. Yung kama niya nandoon. Yung electric fan nandiyan dyan. May TV, okay na yon. Pero pag may babae, may kurtina pa dyan. Ay, dapat dito may nakalagay dito na verse. May plato rito na, plato naman sana, ginawang decoration. Ganun babae. Di ba? Only a woman can turn a house into a home. Adam alone is just Adam, but Adam with Eve becomes a human race. Sipin mo, bigyan mo ng sandwich bigyan mo ng tinapay yung babae, it turns into a sandwich. Diba? No, that's a joke sa mga feminists. Kasi sabi nila, what do you think of women? Are we just simply sandwich makers? Yeah, pero you see, with women, everything multiplies. And that's part of God's grand design. Woman is made from man and is made for man, not the other way around. God designed her to be the best help for her man, the willing hand he exactly needs, not his greatest rival. Alam niyo ba sa Genesis 3, sa fall ng man, isa sa nabanggit ni God, the curse sa babae is, your desire, sabi niya kay Eve, your desire shall be for your husband, but he shall rule over you. Now the feminists say, yung part dun na he shall rule over you, that's the curse. That's the curse. Kasi dapat hindi nag-rule yung mga lalaki over the women, that's the curse. Mali. Ang curse doon is yung dala-dala ng sin. Ano yung dala-dala ng sin? That your desire will be against your husband. Yun yung curse. And ano yung solution na present ni God doon? The man shall rule over you to protect you. Sa mga temptations na ganon. Diba? To balance yung evil sa mga kababaihan. A woman, kasi lahat hindi lamang po lalaki ang sinners Even babae, they're sinners. Kasi meron din tayong tinatawag na cult ng motherhood. Okay? Na lahat, kapag Mother's Day, napakabubuti ng mga nanay. Ganyan. Pero pag Father's Day, tatay ko talaga na yan. Ano yan eh. Di ba? Pat ganon ang treatment natin. Same honor. Di ba? Ang babae, she's a sinner. Ang lalaki, sinner din siya. Pero they find their hope in Christ. They find their completion, their perfection kay Christ. Okay? So kayo din, dapat ganon. A woman is called to submission to her man in marriage for her protection and salvation, for her preservation, for her benefit. Just like how the church is under Christ. Kaya nga, primarily, ang tinatawag ng Panginoon to provide for the family is the man. Because si God din ang nagpo-provide sa atin. Si Christ din ang nagpo-provide ng blessing sa church niya. It's the same pattern. It's the same pattern. Although, hindi naman necessarily wrong na nag-work yung babae. Walang ganong prohibition sa Bible. Okay? Later, pupunta tayo doon. But again, it's the pattern. It's the pattern of Christ and the church. Yung Christ, siya yung nagsusustain, siya yung nagpo-provide, siya yung nag-bless doon sa may church, siya yung nagsisave sa may church. And yung church, yung wife, yung woman, siya yung nagre-receive ng lahat ng yun. And in return, he respects God. He worships God. She gives her life for the Lord. Okay? So reciprocal ito. Ganon ang healthy na relationship na design ni God. Now, women are meant to be empowered. If you read Proverbs 31:10-31, I summarized a few things dito so that you can quickly scan. Ano yung mga qualities ng babae na virtuous according sa Bible. She is trustworthy. The heart of the husband trusts in her. She is productive. She does not eat the fruit of idleness. She is good. She is submissive. She does everything good sa may husband niya for the benefit of the husband. Ayaw ng feminist yun. Tradeswoman. Ito yung babae, nagsisell siya. May mga hinabi siyang clothes, binebenta niya. Bawal ba magtrabaho yung babae? Babae yun. Trabaho yun. Nagtatrabaho siya. Hindi po. Walang ganong prohibition sa Bible. Family-oriented. Ang babae daw is very much family-oriented. She is wise. She is strong. She is brave. She is skilled, generous, reliable, majestic, dignified. She's an educator. She is kind. She is self-controlled or tame. She is a home manager. Altruistic. Wala siyang altruistic? Selfless. Okay? Respected, praiseworthy. She fears the Lord. She is blessed and rewarded sa works na ginagawa niya by God. Yung husband, nire-reward din siya. Okay? So, that's a woman is, according sa site ng Bible. No? Women sound like they're very important, according sa my Bible, di ba? This sounds like a very important person. Di ba? So, hindi against ang Bible sa mga kababaihan. The Bible empowers women. Kung gusto niyo ng women empowerment, study the Bible. Okay? The Proverbs 31 woman is not a petty slave na walang karapatan, na walang imik, na wala na lang siyang sinabing anything. Okay? Puro opo, sir, yes, sir, opo. Hindi ganon. The calling of the woman is glorious, a glorious mission toward godly dominion alongside the man. You may also think of the woman as the alter ego of the man. Kaya nga sa discipline, sa pagpapalaki ng bata, yung nanay, pag nakikita ng bata yung nanay, dapat nakikita niya yung tatay niya sa nanay. Para hindi na umabot sa, hintayin ko pa yung tatay na magalit. Di ba? Nanay pa lang, enough na dapat yon. She's the alter ego of the man. She's not the man, but in her are all the qualities of the man and privileges of the man. Kung paano si Christ, we identify in Him sa kanyang holiness, sa kanyang righteousness, sa kanyang justice, sa kanyang goodness. Ganon din yung woman, she identifies with the man sa kanyang character. And yung privileges, si Christ, He gave everything for the church. He died for the church. Ganon din yung man, ibibigay din niya ang lahat para sa babae. Yung babae, siya namang isasacrifice niya yung buhay niya rin in service of the Lord. If the man is able to do great things with his manliness, the woman should capitalize and build upon her womanliness to do great things for godly dominion. It's the same vision, same mission, different duties, but the same glorious end. So what's wrong with feminism? I summarize it in a few bullet points here. Number one, it rejects man as the appointed head over the woman. Kasi for the feminist, wala dapat authority above the woman. Okay? Number two, it rejects complementarianism and embraces individualism. Kanya-kanya na lang tayo. Actually, there are a lot of videos like that. Na parang basta ang woman, malaya ako, mamamatay na lang ako mag-isa, blah, blah, blah. That's a real feminist according to them. Okay? It views children, marriage, and family life as oppressive systems or a limitation. Kasi nga naman, they cannot do anything they want kung may mga anak silang i-consider, kung may marriage silang i-consider, kung may family life pa na kailangan nilang isipin. Okay, so they say, these are oppressive systems, we need to be set free from these. But the fact of the matter is, that's anti-biblical. Diba? Because the biblical mandate is for them to work together, to be together as one flesh. Joyfully submit. Kasi ang submission is not only commanded sa babae. Ang babae, kinuman siya to submit sa may husband. Yung man, kinuman din siya to submit kay Christ. So anong kind of authority ang i-impose ng lalaki sa loob ng home? Authority ni Christ, walang ibang authority. Diba? It's a righteous authority. Ganun din, yung magulang, wala silang ibang authority na i-impose sa loob ng home, kundi authority din ni God. Yun din ang ituturo nila sa mga bata. It deludes women into believing that they can be more fulfilled by being career women rather than to mainly find fulfillment in building and nurturing the home. Again, walang masamang magkaroon kayo ng careers, but do not forget the home. Because that's one of the primary things the woman is called for. With your tenderness, with your graciousness, lahat yan. These are qualities na nasa babae na very good sa pagpapalaki ng mga bata. The man who is very aggressive and rough, is very hard for men to teach empathy or sympathy. Ano? Kasi babae, sila talaga may ganung characteristic. Pero yung strength, yung stability, yung pagiging determined, men are very good in teaching that to children. Kaya nga important yung dynamic ng father and mother. Pag nawala yung dalawa, yung isa dun sa dalawa, ang hirap magpalaki ng anak. Kaya ang hirap ng challenges ng mga single mothers, or single fathers. Kasi may imbalance doon. It presents itself as a movement for justice, while in the same breath, committing injustice against the home, especially the children. So yung mga anak nila, iwan nila sa mga katulong na lang magpapalaki sa kanila. Now, the question is, anong morality ang tinuturo ng katulong? Hindi nyo na alam yun. Diba? So, sino ang nasa-sacrifice dito? Sino ang nasa-sacrifice? Yung mga bata. Diba? You say you are for justice, for equality. You say that's merciful to fight for justice and mercy. justice and the rights of women, pero at the same breath, you commit injustice against children. So sabi ng Bible, even the mercy of the wicked is cruel. It rejects the order set by the wisdom of God, earning its wages in the poor character and discipline of the generations that have been influenced by it. Kaya nga madalas sa generations after the rise of feminism, lagi na nilang sinasabi, grabe na yung mga kabataan ngayon, Talagang grabe ang mga kabataan ngayon kasi walang naiiwan sa kanila sa home. Walang nagtuturo sa kanila eh. The father is distant. Walang relationship with children. The mother, they don't care anymore. They all care about the jobs that they have. Wala na yung godly discipline and nurturing of the home. Turuan mo yung bata, gabayan mo siya. Especially sa formative years niya, where the foundational teachings are very, very important. So my challenge for you today is to embrace your womanhood. Love your femininity and womanhood. Be wise, be productive, be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth. Know that this very mission is meant to be fulfilled with a man. Find your fulfillment in God's will. He sets all in order, and the reason people do not find fulfillment in their lives is because they ignore the counsel of God, and they water the seeds of covetousness in their hearts that was sown by the devil. That's one of the sins nitong movement na ito. The women want something that is not for them. That's covetousness. 10th commandment. Okay? So, to be a biblical woman, love your femininity. Love the job that God called you to. Walang madaling trabaho. Yung trabaho ng lalaki sa labas, kung sa labas man siya nagtatrabaho, mahirap yon. Mahirap din yung trabaho sa loob ng bahay. Napakahirap nun, Ako, honestly, hindi ko kaya yung ginagawa ng misis ko. Hindi ko kaya. But praise God, kasi she loves what she does. What a blessing to be called into the same mission, pero kahit magkaiba kami ng responsibility, iisa kami ng mind. What a blessing. Diba? Hindi siya yung parang nagsastruggle ako every time. Ay, nako. Ang hirap ng ganun, So I will end the discussion before we go to part 2. In this question again. So what's the essence of being a woman? Kung kayo ang tatanungin ngayon, what's the essence of being a woman? Can anyone answer? Kahit hilaw, it's okay. Walang mali. Walang mali talaga. Wala. Okay. Yes? For marriage? Again, ito kasi may mga ganitong relationships yung mga boyfriend-girlfriend pa lang, boyfriend pa lang, ina-assert na nila na dapat mag-submit ka sa akin Kung ano sabihin ko, gagawin mo. Kaya minsan may mga babae na natitrick into premarital sex. Ginagamit even yung biblical principle na yan. Ang submission po is commanded sa woman in marriage. In marriage. Although the man can influence the woman while they're not yet married, influence the woman to do something, pero he cannot really decide for that woman until marriage. Okay? Kasi hindi pa naman sila iisa. Okay? So what is the essence of being a woman? To be a godly mother and a good wife who fulfills godly dominion alongside her man. Okay? Don't hate men. One of the issues ng feminism, they hate men. Don't hate the men. Thank God for men. Thank God for women. Diba? Pare-pareho yan Walang greater dyan. Ang sabi nga ni Christ, diba, if anyone wants to be the greatest sa kingdom, he must be the least. Siya yung magsaserve to the very point na siya yung pinakamababa. Now, ganun ang man. If you want to be the Lord inside the home, be the least. You're the last. Sila ang una. Mga lalaki, kaya ba yon? Ihuli nyo yung mga sarili nyo, maging lalaki kayo. Unahin natin yung mga babae. No, pag kayo nag-asawa kayo, tatandaan nyo yan. Yan ang principle ng Panginoon para sa inyo. Okay? Mahalin ang mga babae, ang babae, i-respect ang mga lalaki, and that will be the way to godly dominion. Thank you. Break muna tayo, 15 minutes.